We're not really for sure. I'll get into that for a moment.
Oh, come on in, come on in. You can stretch a little bit ahead of me. I'll tell you when to stop. How about that? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. But come on in. Y'all can kind of fan out down through here. But I had a question of kind of about the Native American history here at Mammoth Cave. Mainly, the question is about the burials. So there have been Native American burials found inside of Mammoth Cave before. Folks coming in. So there's been over about 13 different burials that have been found down inside the cave before. But I will say these areas of the cave we're going through right now were never used in prehistoric times by Native Americans. We've never seen any evidence of Native Americans getting into these sections of Mammoth Cave, but we have found evidence of Native Americans going over to 20 combined miles of Mammoth Cave and their time spans. So we have found both purpose burials inside the cave and even accidental burials as well. Some of the purpose burials, religious burials that were put inside the cave systems, even around here, include what were called stone box burials. Basically, they would take flat pieces of limestone, super flat, and they would make a simple stone box, either right into the ground or into the side of the rock face itself. And they would lay them to rest right there. One such burial was found in 1813 in a cave local to here called Short Cave, named because, well, not only is the cave short, but the owner's last name was also Short. But they found a stone box burial in that cave system in 1813. It was a young Native American woman that was inside the box. They estimate that she was probably about 13 years old, and she still had her burial items still with her. She had a necklace of fawn hooks around her neck. They had claws of an eagle, bone made to look like sewing needles, such and such, all still laid to rest with her. And also, she was still perfectly preserved. She still had her hair, still had her skin, just kind of like the day she was laid to rest. So these burials are still found within Mammoth Cave, are now left just where they are. So they could rest peacefully, just like the rest of us, just like everyone deserves to have a nice, peaceful rest. But I would like to welcome y'all to the Snowball dining room, named as such because of the ceiling through here. See, when they first found these areas of Mammoth Cave back in the 1840s, when they first came into this room, they said it looked like a snowball fight had just concluded, and all the snowballs had been stuck to the ceiling, kind of as you see through here. So these areas of Mammoth Cave, the Snowball Dining Room, Cleveland Avenue, these were all found by a gentleman named Stephen Bishop. Stephen Bishop was an enslaved man brought here in 1838 to lead cave tours for visitors of the cave system. But Stephen also wasn't alone. He had two other gentlemen that were here with him as well. A gentleman named Matt Bransford and another one of Nick Bransford. Even though they shared the same last name of Bransford, they were not blood related. The reason they shared the same last name is because that was their owner's last name. So they shared that last name together. But Stephen, Matt, and Nick, these three men, when they were brought here in 1838 and afterwards, folks, these men truly put Mammoth Cave on the map all the way across the world, based on their accuracies, discoveries, and truly what they were able to find down inside of Mammoth. Just like Stephen. Stephen was probably around the age of 18. We're not for sure exactly when he was born, but we suspect he was around 17 or 18 years old. Down here inside the cave, he realized that while up on the surface he was an enslaved man, down here inside the cave, he was the one actually in charge, because he was the only one that knew the way out. So the visitors had to listen to Stephen as they went through the cave. Stephen Bishop would make miraculous discoveries throughout the Mammoth Cave system. He crossed the pit in 1838 by the name of the bottomless pit. It was named a bottomless pit because they truly couldn't see the bottom, no matter how many rocks they threw down or burning pieces of newspaper. They never saw the bottom. But Stephen took a ladder, stretched it across the pit, and on his hands and knees crossed that ladder with a lantern in his teeth. Today we know the bottomless pit is 105 feet deep. Stephen crossed the pit, went to the other side, even found the rivers. Taking these rivers, he found the Snowball dining room. This was a common place they would stop and rest on the longshore. Hence why it's called the dining room. They used to serve meals in this room. Back in the day, the trailing ranger, like Ranger Mike back there, would have been carrying a picnic basket full of fried chicken, biscuits, cornbread, wine, bourbon. Ranger Mike!
I'm sorry, Ranger Chuck put me on this door 5 minutes before we.
You know, that is the truth.
I didn't have time, sorry.
We'll blame Ranger Hillary. You see, this was very commonplace to eat right here in this room. So commonplace that even into the turn of the century, 19th century, they started, well, as this was becoming a national park, really establishing this as a dining room. And when we became a national park in 1941, they had dining tables down through here. Each dining table even had ashtrays at every single dining table as well. So much so that even if you look in the distance, you'll see an artifact on its own. The old lunch counter is still down here. So they actually served chili, stews. You could get different sandwiches, candy bars, Coke, right down inside of Mammoth Cave. This lasted all the way 2013. You could eat down here for long periods of time, but in the 1990s, they started to realize that all the gypsum snowballs that gave the name of the room had been sooty kind of black, were changing colors based on all the hot meals and people sitting down here for long periods of time. Also, I don't think those ashtrays helped out anymore either. So in the 1990s, they had interns with toothbrushes come down and brush every single one of these to clean them down to where they are now. In 2013, they officially closed down food service inside of the Snowball dining room. By that point, they had turned to sack lunches, but still people sitting down here for 30, 45 minutes at a time, like a whole group like this, was still causing irreparable damage to the cave. So it was decided just to end off kind of eating inside the cave whatsoever. But there are still people that come back to Mammoth Cave today that still have memories of this room and sitting down here while on this class field trip like in the 1940s. So truly one of the most famous places inside of Mammoth Cave, but also it's going to be famous for y'all because this is our first restroom break. Around the corner, around the right is the restroom, but before we leave, this is what I'll say. This is the end of our first hour, folks. Sorry. This is the end of our first hour. This was our easy hour. If you got to this point and you realize this tour is not for me, this is now your only time to get out. This is your get out of jail free card. Because around the corner is the elevator. If you feel like you don't want to continue, talk to either me and Ranger Mike, and we'll make the arrangements for you. Besides that, if you need to use the restroom, follow me.